Well, hello everybody, or rather everybody who's a miniatures enthusiast on the internet. I'm Doc Eon. It's Monday. It's the 1st of February 2021 and I'm here to ramble about my miniature painting. And what you're looking at here is the Bones, Reaper Bones Dragon Turtle. The new one from the Bones 4 Kickstarter. On a flight stand that's a little bit better than a lot of the ones they've had before, because it's clearly harder plastic and it should stand up. I'm a little worried about how long it's gonna stay like this without breaking. I'm not sure why it's possible to rotate it so much either. That shouldn't really be possible, so I might actually not have it standing like this. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have it on display like this. Maybe not. Now I went with a different color scheme this time. Like I mentioned, I went with a kind of a more camouflaged idea that, looking at it from top down, it should be hidden in the ocean. People shouldn't see it come swimming. The barnacles are a little bit of a giveaway, perhaps. But then I made it a lighter color underneath, so that if somebody's looking at it, swimming underneath it and looking up, it'll be the color of the sky. Yeah, this, I know, this shouldn't be able to rotate like this. I'll have to look at that. Anyway, it's okay. It's not my proudest accomplishment, but I think it's semi-effective at least. So, glad I got that done. And I also finished a bunch of smaller bones. We have a bunch of demons here. We have 5 of these blue-black demon types. I forget, they have a name in D&D. I forget what it is. And 3 of these bat-winged demons who look more flayed skin. Yeah, I actually have 1 copy each since before of both these minis. They came in, was it Bones 2? Something like that. I painted them up long ago, and I tried to somewhat match what they look like. Here's the old ones. Here's the old one of these, and the old Batwing Demon. A little bit similar. But now they make a reasonable grouping. Really fast and quick paint jobs. Nothing to write home about. So I'm not showing them in detail. Well, you'll see the still pics at the end. And last, but most certainly not least, among the finished minis this week, we have the 2 T-Rexes. The 2 rather different T-Rexes. The metal one here, who's weighs a ton. He's and is on the wooden base with all the resin bits and the like. So I went with very different color schemes there, as I said, and we have this one, who is more of, is completely plastic and weighs almost nothing. And yeah. Not much to say really. They were not that difficult to paint. I mean, they were pretty obvious. I mean, I know a lot of artists who illustrate dinosaurs recently. I've seen a lot of good-looking paintings where they paint more elaborate patterns and stripes and stuff on dinosaurs. I didn't feel these sculpts lended themselves to that. I mean, if it had been more flat, like undetailed surface, I might have gone for striping or spots or whatever. But I didn't really feel it needed it. I think they look dramatic enough as it is. I did add some lighter areas here, like on the nose and the ridges, just to highlight it a bit. But, you know, I think the players will be scared enough if I put these on the table. And speaking of tables, let's move on to the work table. Put some paint on them on my table. We have the Goblin Wolf Riders and the Elf Sorceress. You know, my ambition was actually to finish this girl as well by this Monday. Didn't quite make that to the finish line. I got distracted by other stuff, but next week for sure. And these guys too. They're barely started. They're barely started, but you know, they're not difficult in any way. Maybe the only tricky part is figuring out. So this guy is playing the bagpipes, and which pipe parts should I paint? Metal or horn or leather? It's a little tricky. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer necessarily, because it's not realistic in any case. I'm just going to try and make something that looks good. And anyway, that's that. And here's the latest stuff in prep. We have Mel the Train Tutor. We have some cat girls. We have a cat man. And we have this multi-limbed horror of some sort. And they're ready to get started. Not much else to say about them. Yes, I have to admit I was weak and I backed another Kickstarter by Midland Miniatures. This one is for kids, the junior townsfolk and villagers. So there's 11 children and teens, well, low teens, here, and yeah, I just couldn't resist because they looked too much fun. And yeah, so I don't leave them lying around. I'll get cracking on painting them up right away. And yeah, I'm getting better though. I did not back the latest Kickstarter that Midland launched because it was for something boring. It was just for ordinary villagers, adults, and I have enough civilian miniatures and townsfolks, and I'm getting even more with the next Reaper Bones Kickstarter. Bones 5 has a set of 20 villagers or townsfolk or whatever they're called there. So I have more than I can use. But I want to keep working on, as I mentioned, Bones. I need to keep working on the Bones 4 Kickstarter. And this here is, as you can see, the Triceratops. They call it something else. I forget what the name of it. There's no tag on it. It had a special name. This is actually the last of the add-ons. That is the loose pieces that were not part of the core set or any of the expansions that I got from this Kickstarter. So, another milestone. And you know what? Because since I'm painting the plastic Triceratops, why not look at Reaper's metal trike? This is an old kit. I took off the shrink wrap, the plastic, and I noticed that the cover of this is actually loose. They have a sort of generic box from the Warlord line, and then they have two loose pieces of art, one for the front and one for the back. The back is this, showing the assembly. And so actually some suggestions on painting with colors. Don't know if I'll follow that. Maybe I will. I've never painted a brown dinosaur. I tend to go with green or blue or red. So, maybe. Why not? And I'll paint the plastic one some other color. Let's see if I can show you what it looks like. like this. Pull it out. And here's a bunch of metal pieces. It's roughly the same size as the plastic one, unlike the T-Rex, where the plastic one was much larger. So this will be an interesting comparison. So that's 11 plus 2, that's 13 minis starting up for next week. That'll do, Pig, that'll do. I think that's enough to be going on with, so I'll leave you here for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you would. Subscribe, share, comment, and above all, be back here. Next week, same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian. For now, I'm signing off.